Hi and welcome back to my channel. Astrobabushka here. In this video I will go over April 2025 important celestial events. I will go over what it means to the world and I will go over Trump's chart and its effect of all these events on him and the USA. I will go over J.D. Vance chart, Elon Musk chart. I will go over French President Macron's chart and how it affects his personally and his country that he's ruling. And of course, I will go over, last but not least, Zelensky, the Ukraine's president. So if you're interested, please keep watching. Stars align and planets glow. Mystic secrets will... I started Astrobabushka YouTube channel back in October 2024. Here's the videos I'm most proud about. Predicting Trump's winning the election, not an escalation. Predicted back in January 25 when there was no heating context at place whatsoever. January 30th, 2025, I published World in 2025 video, where I was spot on about world mass protests, possible fight over rare minerals, rise in conflicts and military engagements. A lunar eclipse video, as was predicted in the video, brought severe weather disasters within just 2 days, with many victims in the states where it was visible: Kansas, Missouri, Mississippi, and others. I am passionate about mundane astrology above all others, and if you want to stay in the loop of what's about to happen in the world, please hit subscribe. It would really help me to keep moving with my channel. April Astro events. The partial solar eclipse on March 29, 2025 at 14 degrees of Pisces occurs in the nakshatra of Uttara ruled by Saturn, and is conjunct with fixed star Algonib, with Rahu and Neptune also in Pisces and Mercury debilitated in Pisces. Powerful mix of mysticism, confusion, karmic unraveling, and a collective recalibration. So Mercury debilitated plus Neptune plus Rahu in Pisces can lead to crisis of truth and information, disinformation, media confusion, and intellectual fog could dominate public discourse. Trust me, I'm already a victim to this aspect, as I recorded this video by mistake 3 times. With Mercury debilitated at Neptune plus Rahu in Pisces, illusion versus truth becomes a major theme. Expect manipulation through language, AI, propaganda, or digital platforms. Misinformation and distraction may obscure reality, so don't trust what you see or hear on media. Critical thinking and communication structures may face disruption, censorship, or restructuring. Eclipse plus Rahu plus Uttarapada Nakshatra plus Saturn rulership altogether means collective karmic purging. This is not just a shift, it's a karmic checkpoint. Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, and Rahu intensifies obsession or karmic lessons. Possible loss of borders with Rahu being in Pisces? Well, hell yeah, literal and metaphorical. Pisces dissolves boundaries. Rahu intensifies it. Mercury debilitated can't clearly define it. Result: global confusion around national borders, data privacy, immigration, and identity. Here's also some potential for climate-related migration, oceanic disputes, geopolitical boundary shifts. With Mercury debilitated plus Neptune in Pisces, it all heightens issues around mental illness, addiction, and escapism. Institutional systems may face pressure to reform or face collapse. There may be both innovations in mental health treatments and an increase in emotional fragility in the collective. Technology versus spirit, a battle for the mind. AI and virtual technologies may blur with the spiritual themes. Are we transcending or dissociating? Major ethical debates around AI-generated content, neural implants, synthetic spirituality, or mental manipulation could surface. water, oceans, environmental karma. Here, Pisces plus Neptune plus Rahu can bring floods, tsunamis, rising sea levels, or major water crisis. Be careful around the water. The next will be Sun Ingress Aries chart. It's a Varsha Kundali or global solar new year. Marking the start of the astrological new year, this ingress symbolizes renewal and the initiation of new cycles. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, where cosmic wheel, vitality, and new karmic motion begins. Ashwini Nakshatra, ruled by Ketu, brings speed, healing, divine spark. It's the nakshatra of emergence, resurrection, and activation. This moment sets the tone for the entire astrological year, especially in the world events. It's like the cosmic reset button for Earth's solar clock. So Sun Ingress Aries chart on April 13th, 2025. Lagna Scorpio with star Antares. Lagnesh Mars in debilitation in Cancer in 9th house and ruler of 6th house. Rahu and Saturn conjunction in Pisces in 5th house in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Let's break down. Lagna is Scorpio rising here, so right with Antares over there. Scorpio rising suggests a year of intensity, transformation, and power struggles. Antares, right on the ascendant, is a warrior star, bold, aggressive, often connected to military actions. The public mood may be intense, combative, and emotionally charged. Governments may act with secrecy or in response to hidden threats. Lagnesh, Mars, debilitated in Cancer in 9th house. Not a good sign. As I mentioned in my 2025 video, Mars is also ruler in Vedic numerology of this year. It adds up fire to all the events. Not to mention, in Trump's inauguration chart, Mars is also playing an important role in debilitated in the 4th house and will be heavily active up until fall 2025, aiding explosive events on the national and international levels. Mars rules both first, nation people, and 6th house, disease, conflict, enemies. Debilitated in Cancer in the 9th house, philosophy, law, international affairs, judiciary, shows weak leadership, confusion, or weakness in foreign policy. Could indicate military setbacks or internal conflict over legal or religious matters. As ruler of the 6th house, this also warns of health crisis or conflicts that drain national energy. Next, Saturn and Rahu in Pisces, 5th house, Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Saturn and Rahu are both carrying heavy energies. The 5th house rules energy, creativity, education, speculative markets, and national intelligence. Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra is intense, spiritual, sometimes associated with a radical transformation, sacrifice, and secretive or hidden forces. My interpretation here: education system, youth, and stock markets could face instability, possible manipulation or suppression of information. Rahu Saturn together suggests mass psychological influence, potential rise of AI, propaganda, or mass surveillance. Watch out for spiritual movements with a darker or radical age. Additional mundane notes. With Rahu, Saturn, and debilitated Mars all involved, this year could emphasize mental health crisis, ideological polarization, conflicts over truth, and economic volatility. Scorpio Lagna plus fixed star Antares makes this a karmic turning point, likely tied to destruction and regeneration, possibly through crisis. Rahu Ketu axis. In Sun ingression chart, it's 5-11, with Rahu in the 5th house conjunct Saturn, ruler of 3rd and 4th, and Mercury, ruler of 8 and 11 houses, all near star Alpheratz. This axis reflects the struggle between personal vision and collective systems, individual creativity versus mass control, freedom of thought versus censorship. With Alpheratz involved, there's potential for a breakthrough in mental or ideological liberation, but only through pressure or conflict. Jupiter, ruler of 2nd and 5th house in the 7th in Taurus, with star Rigel and with Uranus in the same house. This combo signals a historic turning point in global economic systems, likely driven by tech innovation, crypto, and AI, with a strong impact on international diplomacy and financial sovereignty. Next, Saturn conjunct Rahu in Pisces on April 21st, 2025, near star Shiyat. It's all happening in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra and near fixed star Shiyat. It all may intensify themes of illusion versus reality. Saturn represents structure and discipline, while Rahu is associated with obsession and amplification. So their union could lead to societal shifts, unmasking of hidden agendas or challenges to established systems. We can witness here a clash of karma meets obsession. Saturn is all about structure, time, karma, delay, moral testing, and Rahu here is illusion, obsession, amplification, taboo, deception. When they come together, chaos, unmasking, instability of systems of control. In Pisces, it adds a dissolution of boundaries, spiritual, institutional, environmental. In mundane terms, this conjunction can manifest as a mass confusion, loss of leadership, institutional betrayal, or floodgate events. Let's touch up on Nakshatra, Purva Bhadrapada, what it symbolizes. The symbol is a two-faced man or funeral cot. It's ruled by Jupiter, but with intense underworld energy. It's associated with crisis of morality and hidden power, rituals, dark idealism, initiation through chaos. With Saturn and Rahu here, expect ritualistic dismantling of belief systems, governments, or identities. This is not a soft aspect, it's a cleansing fire cloaked in illusion. And it's global. Involvement in this entanglement fixed star Shiyat, which is one of the most feared stars in traditional astrology, can lead up to protests, political coups, tragedy, floods, collapses, breakdown of vessels, ships, structures. In conjunction here of Saturn, Rahu with this star, unfortunate star Shiyat, as I said again, can lead to natural disasters and possible aviation, naval accidents, and also psychological crisis. So overall, Saturn, Rahu conjunction with Shiyat. Number one, can lead to fall of the major world leader or regime, can lead to sudden exposure of long hidden programs or conspiracies. It might be extreme ideological polarization in media, religion. It can be escalation in refugee migration crisis due to climate or war. On the environmental level, it can potentially bring major water-related disasters, collapse of containment, earthquakes, or tectonic activity near coastal zones are highly likely as well. On the psychospiritual level, it can trigger mass awakening or mass escapism, breakdown of mental health systems, rise in cults, spiritual manipulation, or AI-driven pseudo-religions. Next important point is Mars opposition Pluto. Mars in Cancer debilitated in Pushya Nakshatra near Beehive cluster, dangerous one, and Pluto in Capricorn in Uttara Ashadha Nakshatra near star Altair. This opposition suggests potential power struggles both on personal and global scales. Mars in Cancer may evoke defensive actions, with Pluto in Capricorn emphasizes transformation within structures and authority. So Mars, as we already know, is debilitated in Cancer. It's weak there, it's emotional, it's reactive, it's defensive. Pushya is a nice one, it's nurturing, it's the institutions, traditions, sacred duty. How about Beehive cluster? It's known as the Menger of souls, but it's empty. And it's famous to be activated during the bombing in the past, unfortunately. But with Mars here being weak, we get protection turning into militarization, rage clogged in righteousness, conflicts over land, food, water, and tradition. In mundane terms, this placement suggests defensive aggression, nationalism, and military interventions justified in the name of safety or tradition. Mars in opposition, Pluto is the signature of volcanic upheaval. This is one of the most volatile transits in astrology, layered with the beehive cluster, with the Pushya nakshatra. What we can expect in the mundane terms: military conflicts justified by humanitarian or religious causes, proxy wars over territory, values, or sacred sites, cyber or energy warfare, where Mars in watery Cancer is infrastructure, Pluto power systems, revolt of the nurtured, populist uprising by the common people against authoritarian systems, explosions near water. I can repeat it many times. Dams, ports, naval zones are in extreme danger right now. Now, next important event is Pluto stationary on May 1st to 5 in 2025 in Capricorn in Uttara nakshatra near Altair. Pluto, transformation, destruction power. Uttara, the later victor, associated with a long-term dharma, governance, truth, and righteousness. A Pluto stations here signals a turning point in global power structures, karmic justice, and reckoning of false authority. And I just realized something, that I just had a major realization. I didn't check this chart, but I will now. Wait a second. So there's a Ukraine inauguration chart. I just remembered that Saturn in one of the charts of Ukraine, or inauguration of Zelensky in Ukraine, was in the Uttara nakshatra, which means unbeatable warrior. And so it actually, in the chart of Ukraine, Saturn in the 7th degree of Capricorn, and Saturn there is very close to where the Pluto is going to be stationing. They're just gonna be 2 degrees away, which I feel like it's pretty close. So what it might be in the chart. So in basic terms, because it's stationary and it is gonna go back, whatever has been reached regards a peace terms in Ukraine, it's all gonna be paused and reversed. So and I'm gonna be talking more about this in the part of the Zelensky in this video, so you can check on the time code. But while Pluto is going back and forth around these points, I have a feeling that nothing is going to be paused or reversed. It's just going to keep being as it was before. Pluto station here signals a turning point in global power structures, karmic justice, and reckoning of false authority. It can be seen as a pause plus pressure. When Pluto stations, its themes become unavoidable. Pressure builds globally, especially around control, governance, truth, and collective karma. Events may feel fated, slow-moving, and irreversible. Star Altair here as well, and what is it? It's the military eagle, a power and ruthlessness. It's the star of the USA, by the way. It's the eye of the eagle in the constellation Aquila. It's all about courage, command, swift action. Shadow side here is oppression, power abuse, it might be meaning a global power players, leaders, and empires are being tested and transformed. This energy could trigger crisis in leadership, a fall or scandal involving major heads of state, CEOs, tech of military power figures. It can also trigger militarized assertion of control, new laws, lockdowns, cyber protocols, or AI governance. So to wrap it up, mundane themes of Pluto stationary. Global regime stress test. Institutions that have hidden corruption may face exposure, revolt, or collapse. Hidden alliances or conflicts emerge. Power blocks may shift, secret treaties, realignment of global alliances, or proxy wars may surface. Now it can also be control of technology and data titans. This is collective karma surfacing, dark histories, colonial debts, corporate crimes, or ecological damage could hit public consciousness or courtrooms. Possible symbolism here. Lead with truth or collapse under the weight of your deception. It's the warrior's karma being tested, a battle not just for land or control, but the integrity at the highest levels of power. What to watch? May 2025 after stationary phase. Any nation with sidereal Capricorn rising or moon, can be China, Russia, or parts of India, may feel this station sharply. World military alliances may shift, either covertly or under threat. Possible announcement or exposure around AI ethics, bioengineering, or space military programs. In the next part of the video, I will go over charts in depth, Trump, JD Vance, Elon Musk, Zelensky, and Macron, to see who might be affected the most, and therefore which countries will be in the epicenter of attention. So the solar eclipse in Trump's and Vance chart is happening in their 8th house, because they have the same rising sign, and let me show you it in the chart. So the solar eclipse will be 29 March 2025 around 6:58. Calculate. Let me see. Yes. So as you can see, all these planets here, Rahu, Venus, Neptune, Mercury, Sun, Moon, it's all sitting in the 8th house. So this is the transit chart, and this is the natal chart. And if you can see, it's 14 degrees in Pisces, and the natal Mercury is 14. So that's mean there's a Kendra Sambandha between those two placements. So there will be a strong connection with the 11th house in the Trump's chart. So what 11th chart is representing in the chart of the president? Yes, the parliament, the Congress, House of Representatives, legislative body, national hopes, gains, allies and foreign treaties, public networks, and social movements. Mercury is strong here. It's in its own sign, Gemini, and it could show intellectual or strategic advantage gained through crisis using this eclipse energy. Now, there's a pretty interesting point here being hit by this eclipse in Trump's chart. In Jyotish, we have things that called upagrahas, and they're calculated based on time intervals from sunrise. So the parivesha, it's not physical, it's just a point, but it represents a karmic shadow, or feel like something that surrounds or cloaks, like an aura or veil. It is associated with illusion, with a psychic atmosphere, deception, and subtle influence, especially in relation to boundaries between dimensions or forces. Think of it as a veil of protection or illusion that can be pierced under certain conditions. So here, not only 8th house, where eclipse placed, is pretty dark and bring such themes as secret enemies, psychological control, espionage, what else it can be, death and rebirth, blackmail. But together with this point that's called parivesha, it can tell us about coming crisis involving intelligent agencies, secret operations, or hidden enemies. Yeah, on another level, it can also be a psychological or psychic attack, even mind control themes, very much in line with MK Ultra or Stargate narratives. So what it can be? Possible loss or gain of hidden protection. So when I'm not certain what it tells me, so it tells me something, but will it go to the plus or to the minus? I go and try to find something in the past that was like in a similar Vimshottari Dasha period. What is Vimshottari Dasha period? It's an amazing tool in Jyotish, located here. You can see all the periods here, and now Trump is in Jupiter, Venus, and Sun since 13th March. So back in 1981, oh, here you see Sun, Venus, Jupiter. So now we have a Jupiter, Venus, Sun, and that was Sun, Venus, Jupiter. So 1981, Trump first approached the FBI in April to express his reservations about building a casino in Atlantic City. Trump told Taylor and a second agent that if he decided to build the casino, he wanted to cooperate with the FBI. A couple of months later, in June 1981, which was still the same period of Sun, Venus, Jupiter, Taylor and the second agent met with Trump and his younger brother, Robert. Donald Trump told the agents he had decided to follow through with the casino project and offered to fully cooperate with FBI during the construction phase and subsequently once the casino was operational. Now, what it can mean for us. Honest, the current period of Jupiter, Venus, and Sun seems quite concerning regarding his body and his health. And it is from March 13th till the 30th April specifically. So here, Jupiter is in the second house of Maraka. Venus is in the 12th house of loss, with Saturn, that is the ruler of the 7th house of Maraka. Venus is also ruler of the 3rd house. 3rd house is the 8th house from 8. And the 8th house means death, and sometimes 8th house from the 8th house means the period of the planet ruling or in the third house can bring some physical illness or sometimes even death. Let's go to the D9 chart. D9 chart is the utmost important after the Rasi. We always watch it together. Here, Jupiter, ruler of the 7th house of Maraka, Venus in the 2nd house of Maraka, and Jupiter in the 3rd house. 8 from the 8. Now, let's go to the D8. D8 chart, it's the enlarged 8th house chart, divisional. Here, what do we see? Jupiter in the 2nd house of Maraka. Venus is with a debilitated Saturn, Lagna Lord. And it's Raja Yoga Karaka, so it's extremely strong. So we never see something strong in the D8 chart. Strong positions like Yoga Karakas, like Raja Yoga Karakas, the debilitated or exalted planets. It's all mean that the worst representation of the 8th house, which is death and transformation, are the most active during this period. By the way, I forgot to mention Jupiter is also ruler of the 3rd house in the 2nd, and it's obviously aspecting the 8th house. So this period will be over on the 30th of April, and well, I just wish nothing happens, but I would say that there's a big danger for sure. And I will not be surprised that within those days the world will hear the news about another assassination attempt or some health crisis. But considering dashas that we use in Jyotish, such as Jaimini Dasha and Yogini Dasha, he's living almost like this couple of years in his life where all the potentials of his natal planetary positions are coming to fruition. He's under protection. At least that's what I see now. So even if there will be any danger to him, it will be successfully eliminated. He probably, or the people around him, they will be able to reverse the outcome. So let's go over the Sun ingression chart, where concerning Mars transit this 12th house cusp with Venus, Gnatikaraka, or significator of enemies and diseases. So I go back to transit charts, and the Sun ingression will be 13th April 2025, 23, 19, 29. Wait, 23, 19, 29. I hope that's correct one. No. Okay, here's the so the Sun enters Aries, the 9th house. So let's go. What was the concerning for me is the Mars on the cusp of the 12th house. So that means it's the most powerful during this year. It will bring a lot of results, and also it's almost transiting over Venus, that is placed in his natal chart on the 2nd degree. Astrology shows he could face a major clash with hidden enemies based on this, who are working against him through legal battles, media attacks, government pressure, or psychological tactics. His influence, ability to speak freely, and sense of protection may all be at serious risks this year. Now, next important point. In April, transit Saturn rules 6 and 7 houses, is in the 8th house, conjunct transit Rahu, who is debilitated in Pisces. This is all happening in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra near the fixed star Shyat. Also, it's happening near Venus, who rules the 3rd and the 2nd houses. So this, it's a sort of the continuation of the effects of the eclipse, although now Saturn is in the Pisces already. So this shows serious stress from both enemies and allies, like can be some unexpected losses, betrayals, or broken deals. There's also potential for health or psychological crisis triggered by these pressures. Rahu being sort of a criminal in the current position, which adds the feeling of being surrounded, isolated or betrayed, with unclear motives and difficult choices. Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra mixed with the star Shyat. This star gives dark, intense energy. Purva Bhadrapada is about sacrifice, intensity, and hidden fire. The nearby star Shyat is known for misfortune, drowning, or collapse. This combo can show a dramatic fall, self-destruction, or being dragged down by hidden forces. For a president, this might mean a collapse of support, secret operations backfiring, or a major scandal exploding unexpectedly. But because of involvement, those kind of houses, because Saturn is a ruler of the 6th in the 8th one, he can actually, and it creates a Viparita Raja Yoga. He can actually gain through challenges and difficulties. He might get in even better position using someone's undoing as a trampoline, as Trump is so famous for. Now, the next interesting point will be transit Pluto, ruler of the 4th house, in the 6th house, happening on 26th of April. Opposite transit Mars, who is ruler of the 4th and the 9th houses, in the 12th house, and Yoga Karaka in the president's natal chart. So the key symbols here. The 4th house is a homeland, emotional foundation, a real estate, the base, support system. The 6th house, enemies, legal fights, health struggles, conflict. 9th house, law, belief systems, higher courts, foreign policy. The 12th house, hidden enemies, loss, isolation, exile, hospitals, or secret operations. President may face a major behind-the-scenes power struggle. His support base or homeland could be under attack, legally, politically, or even physically. Hidden enemies may strike while he feels isolated or powerless. The usual sources of strength, like low beliefs, allies, may not come through. This could trigger a crisis of control, loss, or forced transformation. President Vance. Noteworthy aspect I've observed is that Saturn will soon be moving over his sensitive degrees in Pisces. From approximately March 29-25 till 21st March 2026, he will have difficult period requiring him being able to fight and overcome many challenges. Now, Due to recent events with Tesla cars, I've decided to check on Mr. Musk. If there's any dangerous, if there's any alarming that we might see during this pivotal points in 2025. The transiting sun during the solar eclipse is in his 10th house, so it's probably going to impact his career, public image, leadership. It's square to his natal sun that sits in the first house in 12th degree. It can be tension between public role and a personal identity. Natal sun rules the 3rd house, communication, media, technology, business, strategy. What we can see, what we can think about this. He's entering a period where his public image, leadership, and tech ventures are under pressure, probably even heavy pressure. The eclipse brings sudden changes, challenges to his authority, or might be also a crisis of identity, a clash between his personal vision and external demands may force a reset. I will expect big headlines and bold moves. Now, the next will be Sun ingression. So Sun ingression chart, there's a Mars transit 2nd house and Cancer, making Trikona Sambandha with natal Jupiter, which is also Dara Karaka and ruler of the 7th and the 10th house. Elon Musk may push forward on business or partnership moves tied to money or public leadership, but the influence of Mars in a weak position means this could lead to conflict, loss, or risky decisions. He might try to dominate a deal, defend his assets, or launch something under pressure, but the energy is unstable, and emotionally, he might be even himself emotionally reactive. Transit Saturn, ruler of the 6th and 7 houses, conjunct Rahu and debilitation in Purva Bhadrapada in 8th house. What it can mean for him. Partnerships may become strained, and enemies, both known and hidden, may try to undermine him. Legal issues, power struggles, scandals could emerge. This is a period where he must be extremely careful with who he trusts, how he handles secrets, and what he agrees to behind the scenes. Now we are going into more dramatic charts regarding month of April. Yes, even more dramatic than the Trump's one, and this chapter will be called Zelensky, hanging by a thread. Let me go over and open his chart. Okay, here we go. So many things I explained about my vision about him in one of my previous videos. I will try not to repeat myself here. Also in explanation why I think this solar eclipse that is happening on his 11th house will most likely not give him sudden resignation, as it might appear for a second. With the time, slowly, as I explained in dates in other video, it will be the downfall and the loss of influence and shift in his reputation, but not as of, in my opinion, not as of right now. Even though Sun, we see the Sun and Moon are in the same exact degree as his Ketu. But his Ketu is in Mula Trikona. It's powerful, it's strong. Now, Zelensky solar eclipse aspecting natal debilitated Mars in 3rd house, ruler of 7 and 12. So, So basically Mars is within 8+1 degrees of this. So there's a Trikona Sambandha. So what it can be: Mars, action, war, aggression, strategy. Third house governs military, decisions, communication, courage, propaganda. Mars rules 7th house of war and 12th house of foreign lands and losses, enemies, foreign aids, intelligence, operations. Eclipse energy here brings disruption plus unveiling. Eclipses reveal what's been hidden or force change. When they aspect a weak Mars, debilitated in this case, they can trigger military losses or blunders, expose poor strategy, hidden sabotage or betrayal, lead to sudden collapses in defense or communication lines. Overall, I think this eclipse could trigger a military or diplomatic crisis for Zelensky. His ability to lead, communicate, or defend effectively may be challenged. There may be a breakdown in foreign support that is already sort of bubbling since February, the end of February. It can be also sudden move by enemies that catches him off guard, something unexpected. It's time of high stress, possible losses, and a need to navigate carefully through strategic pressure. Next. Saturn transit, ruler of the 9th and the 10th house, in Pisces in his 11th house. Conjunct Rahu, debilitated in Purva, Bhadrapada Nakshatra. It's happening on the 21st April. So this is the transit and this is the natal chart. So with this transit, he may struggle to maintain support from foreign backers or powerful allies. There could be a tension between or with the large international organizations. Hopes for breakthrough of victory, for breakthrough or victory may feel out of reach. Rahu here adds risk of betrayal by allies because he's a criminal in the Pisces. He acts like a criminal. Hidden deals, manipulation, strategic confusion, possibly a false hope of or illusion of a deal or alliance that falls apart or comes at a dangerous cost. Next one. Transit Mars in opposition with the Pluto. And it's happening on the 26th of April 2025. This opposition shows the Pluto, ruler of the 7th house. In many modern sidereal interpretations, it can be direct clash between Zelensky and a powerful opponent. It could be an escalation in war, a major diplomatic rupture, or hidden power, foreign or internal. Hidden power challenging his position. You see the problem with Mr. Zelensky's chart. He has a few indicators in his chart of higher power almost shielding him, like a Trump has. On the negative placement, he's almost always have a positive counteracting one. such as with all the tension of eclipse in his 11th house of support, he has Jupiter, the greatest benefic, transiting his Lagna and giving him greatest support. And let's not forget about his protection from Macron and his connection with Macron, that ties his Ketu and Saturn with him. There's a few days, although, in April, and specifically it is 19th and 20th April, where he's in danger. He might be in danger. Mars will be transiting his Mritya Upagraha. It's a sensitive death-infused point. Especially in the chart of a president, it signals a very serious and dangerous period, not necessarily literal death, of course. For the president, this could show threats to personal safety, aggressive legal or military action taken against him, sudden crisis or takedown attempt, a betrayal from within his circle. But Jupiter will still be nearby his Lagna. He's still here, meaning he's probably going to avoid the most negative outcomes, even with this dangerous transit. Now, this is going to be the most interesting part of analyzing Zelensky's chart. Pluto becomes stationary on the 1st of May, 2 degrees away from his Sun, the symbol of leadership and presidency, and also ruler of the 4th house and homeland. Let's make that transit. Here is it. Pluto 9 degree in Capricorn, and Sun is 11 degree of Capricorn. And then it goes retrograde for some time, the backward motion, and the next time it will be in exact conjunction, this time, not just like 2 degrees away, but in exact conjunction on April 2026. I talked a lot about that volatile time in another video analysis about Ukraine president. So basically, danger for his presidency is on pause till then. It's in my opinion, in my view, for now. But beginning 2026, even early, like partially fall of 2025, it's getting darker and dirtier for him. He's losing this shielding over him. He's losing the power of his veil, and that's where the sequence of dependable from each other events are happening. So overall, it's February 25, April 2025, fall 2025. And then the whole thing starting is in spring 2026 and fall 2026. And most likely, it will be fall of Vladimir Zelensky there. Now, next point of interest is Macron. And let me open his chart here. When I had a glance at his chart a couple months ago, I got a sudden realization and understanding why he is in such a state these days. He's storming, he's raging, he feels the power, he's like going berserk. No wonder I was like, oh no, that explains everything. So and it's basically it's about his Vimshatri Dasha period. It's Rahu moon, right? So why he's so close to Zelensky? Their Saturn is an exact degree in the sign of Leo, and with the star Regulus. And it's also NATO natal chart has the same position. That's like superpower combination for everyone involved. They're like Marses are not far from each other, and they both debilitating, which gives them this emotional turmoil, and they understand each other on this level. Now next, the Ketu is like 4 degrees away from each other, which can tells us about their past life connection, if you believe in such things. And next is the Sun, is few degrees away from the Sun of Zelensky, few degrees away from the ascendant of Macron. That's just like one of the most I almost have never seen such a synastry chart with so many conjunctions. It's almost unbelievable. What's interesting about Pluto transit and Pluto stationary on the 1st of May. Paris, Île-de-France. Okay. So look at this beauty. So since September 2024, transit Pluto is polishing his lagna, rising sign. What does it mean? Pluto moves across the ascendant. Macron is personally and publicly transformed. What Pluto can bring to this transit, with this transit, it can bring control, survival mindset, strategic aggression, a shift toward darker, more forceful leadership, a wartime posture, especially if national or continental security is involved. He may take on more authoritarian, militarized, or security-driven roles, especially if there is a pressure from within the Europe or from external threats. Pluto rules the 11th house, which is political alliances, defense networks, and the 11th house, political coalitions, defense agreements, public support for large-scale initiatives, including war. As Pluto, ruler of the 11th house, crosses the 1st house, Macron himself, it may lead to military alliances or take a frontline political role in conflict, push for European military independence or a stronger defense. He might engage in power, place, or military build-ups with other world powers. That's what we all have seen in the last couple months, I would say. It marks a shift toward a more forceful, war-ready leadership style. He may become more involved in military strategy, take a stronger stance in European defense, or act like a wartime president. This is a period where power, survival, and control become central to his public identity. Now let's get back to the solar eclipse chart. Solar eclipse is happening in his 3rd house, and it's quite bubbly in his chart. So the 3rd house of military actions, tactical moves, or national propaganda. There's a Kendra Sambandha with Jupiter, ruler of the 3rd and the 12 houses. Foreign strategy come to the surface. Secret alliances, military aid, or intelligence matters take a big turn. Could be a public statement with a huge hidden implications. Plus, it's on RAHU Ketu axis within few degrees that shows a critical crossroads, potentially involving misinformation and foreign entanglements. Plus, in opposition with a natal Pluto. Here is it. Natal Pluto is in the 9th house. He can be forced to take a more extreme or dominant leadership role in the next few months. Plus, there's a Kendra Sambandha with a Mercury, ruler of the 6. Mercury ruler 6 and the 9th house. Trigger to a scandal, leak, or sabotage. This is a kind of eclipse that triggers fate to unfold. Ready or not, here you come. It's a pressure cooker in the Macron's chart. It hits his military strategy, media control, foreign alliances, and hidden enemies all at once. He may be forced to shift tactics, respond to crisis, or make a fateful move, especially related to war, or foreign powers, or backroom diplomacy. The energy is unstable and possibly historic. Now, next will be the Pluto and Mars opposition, which is happening 26th of April 2025. Here's a Pluto, Mars, and Mars is basically on his Mars. What I can say about this, to add to the Pluto over his ascendant, probably Macron is facing a direct power clash, likely involving a foreign rivals, diplomatic tension, or open enemies. He may feel personally challenged or provoked, leading to bold or aggressive action. The energy is confrontational and intense, with potential for military or political escalation. This is time when his leadership is being tested through direct conflict. And when Pluto becomes stationary, right there, by his accident, by his lagna, that's a huge alarm bell for me. Because when Pluto stations, in this case retrograde, its energy becomes focused, stuck, or hyper intense. And by the way, the Pluto is going to go back to his ascendant, to the 5th degree, and it's even intensify more all the energies of conflict. But when it's stationary, it acts like a slow burning fuse. The effects are long lasting and almost irreversible. Mars opposing Pluto plus stationary ascendant is a direct challenge or clash of wheels. This is not a soft moment. It's about confrontation, war, potential military action, civil unrest, or diplomatic explosion. Pressure to act, possibly rashly, to defend position or territory. Something like this. I mean, Pluto turning stationary near Macron's ascendant while Mars opposes it marks a critical moment of personal and political intensity. He may face an open power struggle, military crisis, or leadership challenge. This is the kind of transit that forces transformation, for better or worse. How he responds could reshape his destiny and France's destiny and role on the global stage. Astrological transits can serve as a cosmic prompts, encouraging introspection and growth. While they may coincide with external events, our responses shape our personal journeys. Here are some strategies to navigate the energies of April 2025. Embrace reflection. Use this period for self-examination. Understand your motivations and assess whether your actions align with your values. Practice mindfulness. Stay present and grounded. Techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, and yoga can help maintain inner balance amid external turbulence. Foster compassion. Recognize that others are also navigating these energies. Approach interactions with empathy and understanding. Engage in constructive action. Channel any restlessness or frustration into positive outlets. This could involve creative projects, physical activity, or community service. Seek support. If feelings of overwhelm arise, don't hesitate to reach out to trusted friends, family, or professionals. Sharing experiences can provide relief and new perspectives. Remember, while the stars may influence the backdrop of our lives, we retain the agency to choose our paths. By approaching these times with awareness and intention, we can harness the cosmic energies for personal and collective growth.